me feel like an actor.
It's cool.
Talkness Monster Podcast.
Talkness Monster Podcast is back after a month of hiatus. Or a hiatus? A month of hiatus? Hey.
I think it's just hiatus. We took a hiatus, perhaps.
A hiatus?
Yeah. Sometimes if I don't know like the pluralization or singleization of the word, I'll just take the long way around and use the other one. I don't know.
Get the camera switching going here. Santino, so it's good to have you on, man.
Yeah, man. I listen to podcasts all the time. I'm stoked to be on one.
So, yeah, like I said, we've been off for a month, and get over here to the cut button because I don't have to think. We were off because, Hannah's not with us anymore.
Okay.
She decided to, I don't know what she's deciding to do, but she's not doing this anymore.
Gotcha. For sure.
But she was gone, so I was like, all right, we'll just take the rest of the month off.
Mm-hmm.
We've done like 18 of these or so. I think this might be number 19. I don't know exactly which one this is.
Nice.
Just coming back. And I also had the Aga Beach Surf Classic, which is a surf contest that we live streamed second week of September. And that was a ton of work. And so I was just like, let's just get that done and then kind of come back.
Yeah, I'm always seeing your like shorts and Instagram posts and stuff like that. I get a real kick out of that.
Oh, for like the surfing content?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, this camera, there we go. I need to make sure that's on the right thingy. But the surf content that I do, I got a couple of buddies. We go to certain places and film and get some cool shots. I usually only go on the bigger wave days when people are like, they do a surfing called toe surfing.
Oh, I think I saw like the video of that, but I'm not sure exactly what do they just surf on the toe of the board, like the front of it or something?
So like when you're surfing, you have to paddle into a wave.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of being paddling into a wave, they pull you in with a jet ski.
Oh, okay. Oh, toe. Gotcha. I was thinking like digits, not like being pulled.
Oh, yeah, totally. But no, the Aga Beach Surf Classic is an event the city puts on. It's a surf contest. It's just kind of some of the same people are involved. But we actually, I have 100 meters of Ethernet cable, which is the max you can have before you start losing speed.
God.
Yeah, and then that's what we hiked that out to the cliff from a house. We had people that let us do that and drag all the gear, all of this stuff, and do that out there. And so, I just like, let's just take a little bit of time off, recover before I do the podcast again. Like,
yeah, I'm definitely no stranger to hiking a bunch of gear up and down cliffs and stuff like that. So it's tiring, man.
Yeah,
definitely need a rest. Hey, if this ends up being 18, my number at work is 118.
Really?
Yeah. So that'd be pretty kind of cool. But
so,
I think you said it was 19, but
I don't know exactly. I can't remember. I'd have to.
It should just be retroactively. This should be the 118th episode.
Well, whatever. I mean, like we didn't. There's an episode I had with Pablo where Hannah was helping me, and she didn't know how to work any of that stuff yet. So none of the sound was going through.
Yeah, I think I called you on that.
Oh, yeah, you
one.
called us.
Yeah, I was like, no, it's going wrong. Fix the sound.
That totally sucked because that was such a good one. We got talking, and we were talking about Atlantis and all this crazy haircut stuff that I never thought would have been cool. Haircut, like he has all these like influential people coming in to get their haircut.
Wow.
And he, if you ever go to the barber.
Is the young Stalin still a thing? Is that still popular?
The haircut?
Yeah, I remember for a while there, everyone was wanting the young Stalin haircut.
What is a young Stalin? I don't remember what that looks
I've
like.
never actually seen it.
Let me look it up.
The young Stalin haircut. I think you have to have a little bit of longer hair for it to work, but yeah, everyone's seen a picture of young Stalin and they thought, oh man, his hair looks great.
Young Stalin. Let's see which camera here.
Which is, Joseph Stalin. If
this
not
is
being
it.
clear.
Is this the right one? Is that the right one?
Yeah. That's the
okay.
one.
Okay.
Actually, now I have seen it. Yeah, that's right. Jesse showed me.
I mean, honestly, that's
that.
not bad looking. I'd rock that.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, they see these old pictures of, dictators like Saddam Hussein or something like that, and like, oh wow, he used to be really good looking, but it's like, he's a charismatic dictator, so good looks are going to be a part of it, and
yeah,
usually it's kind of how crummy people are. Oh, that person looks good. I think I'll listen to what they're saying, or do what they tell me to do.
Actually, I was going to get my haircut today.
I had a haircut planned, and then my boss went out of district for like 3 weeks on a larger fire, and then I was just stuck in Florence/Reedsport and couldn't do it.
Speaking of which, let's tell people about what you do. You're a wildland firefighter for ODF in Florence, Oregon.
Yes. So how it goes is that in the state of Oregon, there's certain lands, and if it's a government-owned land by like federally owned, then the Forest Service is going to be the people that are responsible for the protection of that land. And if it's not, then it's privately owned land usually / state-owned land, and then that's where the state of Oregon comes in. So Oregon Department of Forestry, which is what I work for. And it's split up into a bunch of different units and stuff like that. I work for the Western Lane unit. I'm one of their forest officers. And specifically, I'm the forest officer for the subunit of Florence, basically.
Subunit Florence. So what exactly do you do? Like, are you in charge? Are you like is there like a foreman? Is that a thing? What is?
So they're
I don't know.
No, for sure. I'm laughing at myself because I'm trying to organize my thoughts
You
here.
should bring out the Joker laugh. Come on.
I was trying to do a Mark Hamill one, but I don't know if that.
He's the best Joker.
I agree. But live action, it's kind of like it's either Heath or Joaquin for me, but I lean more towards Heath.
Oh yeah, Heath was good.
Yeah. There are like crew foremans and stuff like that, and I was an assistant foreman, then engine foreman proper and stuff when I worked for Coos Forest Patrol over in the Coos Bay unit, and then there's hand crews that aren't engine crews that they just responsible for using a chainsaw to cut line around a fire and then dig with the hand tools around the fire and stuff like that. And their crew structure is a crew boss that runs the crew, and then a squad boss that is second in charge, and they usually have 3 or 4 depending on how large the crew is, because usually you want like a 20-person hand crew or a 10-person hand crew at the very least. Coos had a bunch of little tiny squads of 6-man.
Really?
Yeah, or I guess I should say personnel, because there weren't always men,
So you're with 15, 20 people right now?
No. Sorry, I got a little lost in the weeds here, structuring out what I do. So what I am is I am a forest officer, so I'm middle management. So yes, I am in charge, but also I have a boss that works out at that station. And so my job is I'm a manager that's still boots on the ground. So I'm still actively fighting fire. Most of my work is out in the field. And once you move past my position, then most of your work is administrative work or, office work, things like that. So part of my work is in the office and reports and things like that, but most of it is very much firefighting.
Firefighting.
If that makes sense.
Did you fight any fire? You were on a fire recently. Wasn't there some fires going on down there? Or you were just...
Yes. I got moved over to help out on a night fire. It was a Bear Mountain fire. Mm-hmm. And so I went out there, and it was 5 acres, and it was pretty much out when we got there. But our main responsibility is that he wanted me to work with this dustbuster crew. which is a private contractor. And they're a hand crew. They're not. I don't believe Dustbusters has any engines or anything like that. But I'm not an expert. But I was working with them because they wanted to pull out all of this hose because that hose belonged to the landowner and they wanted it back or something. And so we had to put in like a different hose lay and basically just replace it. And so we replaced, maybe like 500 feet of progressive hose lay, which is one chunk of big hose, another chunk of big hose. Then you put a piece of plumbing on the end of it that we call it a Y, because then you can hook up another hose onto this end and another hose onto this end. And then you do like a lateral, which is
What are you doing with your fingers there?
Trying to explain it to you. But ours is more like quick connect, so it's not.
I feel like the cone heads here.
The cone heads?
You know, like
We're from Canada. No, if I was from Canada, I wouldn't have to wear a fire shelter on the line. But anyways, it was a lot of hose, but not even close to the amount that we needed. Mm-hmm. And then the Dustbusters got called off to go to a different fire. So then it was just me, the engine partner, which only has about a year of experience, and then the person that is running the fire, which is called the incident commander, which is shortened for IC. And he wanted me to hike the fire with my engine partner. And it was pretty crappy ground, and it was pitch black at this point. And
pitch black.
Yeah, made it down about halfway, and then I ended up dislocating my knee.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's like, did it swell up all big?
Yeah, it did.
Like, how did you dislocate your knee exactly? Because that's, I don't know, I've dislocated an elbow, and it sucked. And my buddy just dislocated his elbow skateboarding, and
Ooh. I've never had the misfortune of dislocating an elbow, but I've dislocated my knee and my ankle before. But no, I just took a pretty hard fall, and that's like pretty steep terrain, and night, all that stuff, and just kind of popped out of place, and so
popped out of place.
Basically,
didn't need that knee anyway.
Oh no, I definitely needed it because I was in the bottom of a 5-acre fire.
You get it. You needed it. Come on.
Gotcha.
Come on, give me a bone.
That's pretty good.
No, it's not. I'm stupid. I'm a moron. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm still listening. I'm trying to manage all this stuff. It's going okay.
No, it's a lot of stuff there.
It's like all these windows over here popping up and down. And okay, so let's talk about.
I made it out of there, by the way.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I didn't really care.
Oh, okay.
It was a good story.
Thank you.
It was a transition.
Gotcha.
To Thor, Love and Thunder.
I swear, Thor, Love and Thunder.
Bane. Bane. And
That's not Bane.
It sounds like Bane.
Bane would be more like, the son of Odin.
I was watching that again, and spoiler alert, but I totally forgot that Bane wasn't the main bad guy. I was like,
spoiler alert for a movie that came out literally 10 years ago.
Oh, fuck them. People get pissed. I just figured, I didn't give him enough time anyway. But the chick, she's the mastermind. And she did Batman and was like, oh, great. Batman's like, oh, I ate my words now.
Well, Batman's not exactly new to sleeping with his female adversaries.
Oh, yeah, Catwoman. Huh?
Yeah.
She was kind of in the Christian Bale one, though. She was kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
She was stealing stuff.
Well, they've moved her over into being kind of what they call an anti-hero. So it's someone that's kind of half in, half out, and they can still be a good guy as long as the stuff that they're doing isn't terribly wrong. Like her, she steals stuff. So it's like, and mostly steals like jewels and stuff like that, so it's kind of like like a victimist crime or something.
She's not killing people.
Yeah, and then even then it's like you can kill a person. Like the Punisher kills like a bunch of like, everybody in terrible, gruesome ways, but they're all like, bad people or whatever.
The Punisher.
So that's okay. He can blow some guy's head off, but he was a mobster, so it's all right, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny how that stuff works.
I kind of like the anti-heroes a little bit. They're interesting. I mean, is Loki in the MCU? Is he kind of an anti-hero like toward the end?
I mean, pretty much. I mean, he was one of their few runaway successes with villains, and so they had to keep like bringing him back. And so the easiest way to, bring back a villain a bunch of times is to kind of make him into a good guy and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Did you watch the Loki series?
Yeah, I did.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Oh, I loved it. I think my favorite episode is actually when they get stuck on that planet and it's about to get hit by that meteor.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was just a very beautiful episode. I was listening to someone and they're like, that episode was completely pointless. Nothing happened to advance the plot or anything like that. Like you can just skip that episode. And I was just like,
that was a good episode. I enjoyed that.
Why would you want to?
Like that was the one where they were on the train, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See that whole sequence where they were like singing and everything, and it was just preposterous.
I mean, just that purple sky was
it
just
was cool.
Absolutely gorgeous, and then seeing that meteor coming down,
I've definitely felt that way about certain episodes and other series, and like if you're rewatching and it's like, oh, I don't want to watch that, but I can't think of one exactly right now. But back to Thor: Love and Thunder. I just saw that. That was most recent.
Okay. Yeah.
Because my girlfriend's sister has Disney Plus, and we all have the password, and
Gotcha.
And so yeah.
Well, as long as it's not Netflix, you'll be okay.
You don't like Netflix?
No, they're starting to crack down on their password sharing and stuff like that, and really hard.
Well, you do have the Netflix passwords too.
Well, I mean,
her dad has the. Okay, so my girlfriend explained it to me. She's like, "Oh, he paid a bunch of extra money so he can have more logins," and then later on, I found out they can have 3 logins.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, how many? That's not very many. Like, how many do you get normally? Like 2? So they paid for 1 extra?
They've changed the plans a bunch, so it's kind of hard and to remember what is what. The Netflix used to be my wife's thing because we have a pretty much a lot of the streaming services split up between us, so it's all of ours or whatever. But one person's kind of like in charge of figuring out all that stuff, but I had to start paying for it 1 month just because of the way that the billing cycle fell and stuff like that, and then it never went back over to her, and so now I don't know, it's weird.
Cattywampus.
So I don't know what exactly it is that I'm paying for, but we don't like share it with anybody, so I guess it doesn't really matter as long as I get to watch Cobra Kai and stuff like that. So.
Is Cobra Kai actually good? I have been avoiding it like the plague.
Oh,
I'm literally like, this is stupid, like Karate Kid bullshit. But it's been advertised like it's the best show ever, so I'm like, it can't be. Fuck this show.
So what exactly do you mean, Karate Kid?
I don't know what but I'm like, this has got to be some stupid spin of Karate Kid, and it's got to be really, I don't know.
I mean,
you know me and karate and my history with karate. I'm just like, okay,
me, I understand.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
Listen, if you're looking for, I don't know, like realistic martial arts or something like that, and stuff that's really gonna like be like useful or whatever.
No. Entertainment.
Oh, okay,
entertaining.
Okay, then you're gonna be entertained.
Is it funny?
Yeah.
Is it like cool?
So, have you ever seen the original Karate Kid?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay.
I think I've seen 2 or 3 of them. I mean, they were pretty good.
So the blonde bully.
Nah, it's been too long. I don't remember that.
Okay.
No.
Well, it follows him, and he starts up his.
Oh, it is
own
like a Karate
dojo.
Kid thing.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a sequel / spinoff / both. I don't know what you want to call it. And then it's about him doing his stuff, and then the hero from the movie comes in. He starts doing his stuff, and then it gets really complicated. I mean, it follows like half of the time it follows like teenagers, so of course there's going to be like complicated drama and like it gets a little bit ridiculous with like this person now is their dojo and now this person's going over there and then this person's coming over here and then like people do like 5 lessons and then they're karate master and stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that you kind of have to just like get over, I guess, but it's pretty entertaining.
Well, I don't know. I might watch that. I also don't like watching stuff. So I don't like watching surf videos because it makes me want to go surf. And if I can't go surf those conditions, then it's kind of disappointing. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, and the thing with karate would make me want to go. Like, I do like watching UFC, and it always makes me want to go kick ass.
Oh, see, that's interesting. Like, I really like watching like TV and movies and stuff like that with like fighting in it, but I don't like to see people fight in like real life. You know what I mean?
It's definitely different.
Well, it's not like a matter of like stylistic or anything like that. I just don't really like conflict, and I just don't really like seeing people like in conflict with like one another. I don't even like being around when people are like arguing.
Nah, me neither. I'm not into it either. But yeah, I don't like want to. I don't know why UFC is kind of an exception because it's like I don't want to go out and get my face actually beat in.
Well, I mean,
the Karate Kid though makes it look so cool that I want to go fucking kick ass too. But like getting all bloodied up and beat to hell in the octagon, it's like nah.
No, there is some sort of like part of like the male fantasy where you want to just like leave a 7-Eleven and get accosted by a punk ass and then like uppercut him or something.
I cut you. I'll beat you, man.
But anyways, so Love and Thunder. I keep taking you away from that.
You seen it?
Yeah.
When did you probably saw it in theater?
Yes. Yeah.
I used to see. I was more likely to go see a movie at the theater when you were around because I always had a buddy go see one with. Now it's like my one of my roommates is basically doesn't watch movies. He doesn't like movies. He's like anti-movie, but he watches YouTube all day. Or well, not all day, but like literally, but like all the time.
No, yeah, it's kind of funny how some people won't want to watch a movie that's 2 hours because it takes too long. But they'll scroll TikTok for 2 hours.
No, he doesn't TikTok.
Okay.
He's really old-fashioned. He won't allow there to be a television in the living room. Which I'm like, well, maybe if there was a TV in the living room, people would hang out in the living room. I don't know. Like, nobody hangs out. It's like storage.
That's kind of weird because usually when someone has an aversion to a television being in a room, it's usually the bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, it can be in the living room, but not in the bedroom. And I'm a first world spoiled baby, so it's like if I'm going to be in the room, and I want a television in there.
My girlfriend doesn't have a television in her room, but
I mean, it's for the best. It's just terrible for you.
I just measured my TV because I got it from my other roommate who is like as saturated in video games and anime and YouTube, Netflix, all that as possible. Like he's like a professional absorber.
Absorber?
I don't know what you call him, but he's a nice guy. But he kept getting bigger and bigger TVs.
Yeah.
So he went from the TV I now have to like a 70-inch. And so I bought his 51. 52-inch. I actually thought it was a 40-inch, and I actually measured it. And I was like, fuck, this thing is like 50 inches. This is a big TV.
Well, did you measure it corner to corner? That's how you...
I did. Okay. Because I just learned.
And the plastic doesn't count.
It's very thin. It's the good ones these days. I feel like have the thin. You don't want those big borders. All those. That's lame-o.
I mean, they don't want to make those anymore either because that's
sauce.
just more money they have to spend.
Yeah, and good. I don't want that border anyway. But so funny thing was, he bought another TV that's bigger than his 70. It's like a 76 or whatever.
Yeah.
So we got my other roommate. So when he switched it out, and my other roommate didn't know. And so I was like, hey, come in, let's go to James's room. You notice anything different, buddy? And he's like, no. Like he literally did not notice that the TV was like
way larger.
I mean, it was already humongous, and
Yeah.
so it was like comparatively wasn't that much bigger.
Gotcha.
And so it's like, why did you even buy it? Like, I don't know. It's like a waste of money.
I did the same thing. My dad had this plasma. It was like a 50. I think it was a 50-inch TV.
Plasmas were supposed to be the best.
Dude, that thing lasted for a long
Did they?
time.
I heard they weren't supposed to last very long.
They weren't, but this one did.
But yeah, plasmas are supposed to be like the best.
They were like the first like flat screen that wasn't like a giant box or whatever. But that one finally gave out, and so I went and I bought. I was going to replace that TV, and so I went there and I was like, "Oh wow, they have this really good deal on like TVs right now. Maybe I'll get this 65-inch." So I bought the 65-inch TV, and I was just instantly becoming like the ugly American because I was like, "Oh, maybe I should get like a bigger TV."
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that much more money. It's like $60, or or this one over here is only $100 more. Might as well, and I didn't. I avoided that, and then I was trying to load up the TV in the back of my wife's truck, not the bed, but the back seat, and it wasn't working. It was barely fitting, and then
Oh crap!
I finally was able to get the TV back there, and then I got it home, and then it wasn't fitting on the TV stand, and so I was having to wander around, my property and looking for something that I could put the TV on, and I just as that was happening, I just felt completely ridiculous.
Because it was giant.
Yeah, because it was completely gratuitous and unnecessary. But once I got it set up, I did not regret it anymore.
Yeah, bigger TVs mean a lot. It's funny because, like I said, I did this. I filmed the big waves surfing.
Yeah,
And when you put a big wave on a tiny little screen, it's not very impressive.
No, I didn't. I don't know. I don't feel that way when I'm watching those videos. Maybe because I have perspective of the individual that's writing it. If that makes sense.
I don't think that's what I mean. So like
Okay.
when you watch it and you see a little person on a big wave,
Yeah.
the bigger the screen, like when you have it on a big screen, it actually looks more impressive.
Okay.
On a little screen, it's just hard to relate to it because it's so small. It's kind of similar to like, have you ever seen any extreme sport like skateboarding or BMX or something? And
I grew up in the 90s.
yeah, see, so it has to be like 10 times, not necessarily 10, that's extreme, but like
For sure.
way more burly in real life to look very burly on the internet or on TV.
Yeah.
Like you can do something that's not that extreme and it looks really cool in real life, but then not that cool on the internet.
Gotcha. Yeah, everything has to be big. It's kind of like when you're in plays, you can't really be subtle in your performance.
Yeah. You have to exaggerate.
Big,
A little
big,
bit. Yeah. That's like TV too, a little bit. Like, I don't know. That's a weird one. But yeah, we were talking about Thor like a while ago.
Sorry.
No, it's fine, man. We're just
We'll
like-
push right through
I mean,
to
this
Thor.
is just like whatever. But we do have somebody watching on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is actually the first stream we've done on YouTube, so I'm not expecting a lot of viewership, but it's breathing some life into the YouTube, which is good. And
For sure,
actually,
man.
let's check the Facebook, see if anybody's. I Restream did all these comment stuff, and it seems like it's not letting us do that this time. So let's see if there's anybody commenting on Talkness Monster Podcast Facebook.
Subscribe.
If you have anything, any questions, any concerns for Santino, you can ask him anything you want.
You can ask me anything, and I don't know if I'll have the answer.
He could have the answer.
I could give you an answer, but it might be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Oh, you're so wrong. Oh, I'm gonna share it too, really quick. I'm gonna share it on my personal. I don't know how to use Facebook that well. I'm like better at it than I used to be, but I'm like terrible at Facebook.
Gotcha.
Oh crap! I just fucked it up.
How did you just?
This morning at CrossFit, I do CrossFit Newport.
Mm-hmm.
They literally were like, at the end of like whooping our asses, they're like, "All right, one lesson today: get off social media, get off TikTok, get off Instagram. Social media is bad. And I was like, I like this guy. I totally agree, but my job requires me to use some of this stuff.
I don't know. I think anything is bad for you. It's just, how much you do it or whatever.
Some of those.
I think it's funny that we live in a society where it's like pushing people to be more okay with someone just like doing a rail of coke off of a table, but that same person will be, why are you on Facebook? That's just terrible for you, and you shouldn't have a television in your bedroom, and it's really horrible for your sleep. Why are you eating that Big Mac? So I don't know. So what's your thoughts on Love and Thunder? Is that what you're trying to get at with me?
So I just saw it, and I think some people were hating on it.
Yeah.
And like people do hate on, and I think sometimes legitimately. Like, okay, I want to talk about a little bit later after Love and Thunder, but about She-Hulk.
Okay.
But I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to watch She-Hulk.
Okay.
I'm not going to watch it. I mean, you could convince me, I suppose. I suppose you could convince me.
I have no reason to convince you to watch She-Hulk
well,
or anything for that matter.
Well,
if you don't want to watch something, that's fine.
If it's good. I don't know.
I mean, that gets such a abstract construct, right? Who knows what's good for you?
How do you spell nerd? N-E-R-D?
Correct. That's one of the 3 words I know how to spell.
Hashtag.
Casey is in trouble here when he's asking a dyslexic how to spell things.
Hashtag nerd.
What other hashtag?
Hashtag nerd life.
Hashtag nerd life.
I'm sharing it. Oh, Santino, live with Santino. Hey, there we are. We're on Facebook. Hi, Mark Zuckerberg. That's your camera. You can wave at that one. I don't even know which camera. Oh, it's on you. Okay, good.
Okay.
I've been switching. I think I'm doing okay. I feel pretty powerful. Hey, I just got the delay. You just waved us then. That was nice. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go back to the other thing.
Yeah.
See if there's any comments. Thor Love and Thunder, man. I was a little like, okay, when they brought back Natalie Portman, I was
Jane
like
Foster.
a little skeptical.
Oh, really?
That it was going to be like super woke or whatever. And I was like, I didn't think it was woke at all. I mean, I didn't really get that vibe. But it was just like, it all kind of added up. Here's the thing. When they want to make it politically correct and they add things in and it doesn't really make sense, that's what pisses me off. If they work it in and it makes sense, I don't care. Like, as long as it fits. But if it's like, here's our political agenda and we're making it part of the plot and it doesn't make sense, then I'm like, fuck you guys. But I didn't. It made sense to me. Like, they had this whole story with, I mean, now it's spoiler alert, but
Well, I mean, it's streaming on Disney Plus. So, I mean, I think it's more widely available.
Oh yeah, that's true. Disney does want to be like super.
Oh no, I'm saying we don't have to worry too much more about spoilers since it's like readily available on like Disney Plus. You can pay like $8 or whatever to watch it, and then all of Disney's library and stuff.
Dude, I watched it for free.
What someone? Yeah, gotcha.
I thought you when you were. $8 is that how much Disney Plus costs?
Yeah, I think it's moving up to $8 a month.
Oh, how much is it right now?
I think it's $7.
They're gonna go up $1.
Yeah, inflation. Everything's going up. We were just talking about that. I don't know. It's tough for me to take the comments of like go woke, go broke, and Mary Sue's and SJW and like really seriously.
I don't know what Mary Sue and SJW is.
Well, most people don't know what Mary Sue actually is. They just like say it whenever they see a female character that is competent. But
I think competent female characters are awesome as long as they're legitimate and they're not like forced. They're like trying to make somebody who's not cool. That's what pisses me off. But like,
well, I just don't understand it because it's like as soon as it strays away from like the default, which is like a straight white male character, all of a sudden these terms of like SJW, cucklord, woke and blah 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 start coming out, and it's like I don't understand. As soon as we stray away from that pattern, all of a sudden it becomes like a political issue. It's like Star Wars had like all of these like political like things all the way back to the original trilogy. Darth Vader represented all of these like horrible dictators and the
Nazis.
Yeah, the evil side of this world, and then all of a sudden Finn is in the next movie and they're like, "Oh, you had to make it political," and it's like because he's black.
I didn't think Finn he fit. He didn't look forced to me. Like it felt natural. Like that's all that mattered. He was a good character. I liked Finn.
Finn was natural. He wasn't really natural in the second movie because they just reset his character to 0 and they took all of his character growth away from The Force Awakens.
Yeah, they did.
Which was annoying to me. I think Finn got done dirty. I like Finn a lot.
He was really cool in the first, and he had the lightsaber, and he got to fight with the lightsaber, and he got whooped, but it was still really cool.
He was a great character. He went from kind of like this skittish coward to being more brave and doing the right thing for the right reasons. And then, the next movie, they're just like, he was funny in the first. He needs to be the funny guy, and it's like, well, you can still be the funny guy if he's changed and stuff. But
it seemed like he was going somewhere.
Yeah,
like he seemed like he had the hots for
Ray.
Oh yeah,
he
totally
did.
Seemed like he had the hots for Ray, and all of a sudden it was like Ray, like, oh, I'm not really interested in you anymore at all.
Well, I never felt that she was romantically interested in him. He was definitely into her.
I would have been too. She's pretty hot.
But yeah, that was part of the reason they introduced like Rose. Was to like, we'll give him a love interest, so now he doesn't have to pine over Ray or whatever. And I didn't think Rose was a very really good character. I don't understand why they had to bring in that character to explain to a person that was kidnapped and forced to become a child soldier that sometimes the galaxy is a bad place. I think he's pretty aware of that.
Yeah. No, that felt a little forced, but that didn't seem like it was like a political agenda unless they were like, oh, was she Asian? You got that one of each race. I didn't really get that, but it just felt like, well, who is she?
It didn't really feel like a political agenda to me. It just felt like Rian Johnson came in and he just really didn't understand the characters that were laid out in front of him.
Yeah,
to me that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I did like watching that movie, but I definitely was like, oh man, I wish they just should have just let J.J. Abrams.
He should have done all 3 of them.
Yeah, but that's not how, is that how the original Star Wars was?
That was the original plan because Lucas did the first one, and apparently the first cut of it was absolutely dreadful, and his wife at the time, now ex-wife, saved it on the cutting room floor.
I have heard that.
Yeah, and then he was so busy getting the third one rolling that he had to hire a different writer and director for Empire, and that was Kasdan. And that was the Star Wars movie that he had the least involvement in when he still owned Star Wars. Of course, we're going on to other movies that he didn't have any involvement in. But at the time, that was the movie that he had like the least involvement in. And it's probably the best Star Wars movie ever. And then the third one came along, and it was directed by somebody else. I can't remember, but the word on the street is he had his fingers in everything behind the scenes and stuff like that, and it's really
from the start.
No, from Return of the Jedi. And so the word on the street is he basically ghost directed that movie.
Oh,
and it's kind of funny because that's the movie he had the most involvement in, and that's the one of the original trilogy that people seem to like the least. I like Return of the Jedi quite a bit.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, no, I like it.
That was a good one. Like, who doesn't like the freaking
the Ewoks?
A
lot of
in
people.
The Redwood Forest.
A lot of people.
And you know what the funny thing is? There's these older...
They were the original Gungans.
Oh, well, I definitely was a Gungan fan. I didn't like love him, but like everybody hated Jar Jar. And I had this conversation with my buddy Johnny. We were on here.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Matt. We've actually had a couple Star Wars people on. I'm starting to think this is going to be like a nerd podcast. Like, well, I also talk about lots of other things, but like love that kind of stuff.
You can cut out the little segments, the little nerd ones, and like kind of put them out on their own.
No, they do really good on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah, I put out one on George Lucas and how much money he sold Star Wars for or something.
Yeah.
Did really good on YouTube.
4 billion or something.
Got thousands of views.
Wow.
But I've not done very many clips. Because, I've had people on here and we don't talk about anything that YouTube cares about.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But like I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about nerd stuff because it's kind of like a nerd. I follow Geekdom 101.
Yeah,
I don't watch him a lot right now, but like he's all about Dragon Ball Z, and it's like, oh, Geekdom 101, Dragon Ball, and he'll just nerd the fuck out of Like,
well, it was kind of funny because it was like it seemed like it was all we wanted to talk about when we were younger, and nobody cared.
They made fun of us.
Yeah, nobody wanted to listen.
Made fun of us, those fuckers. And then guess what? I went Super Saiyan. I blew them up.
But now it's all anybody wants to talk about.
Well, now it's like it's cool to reference Dragon Ball Z when you're working out.
Train like you're going Super Saiyan.
It literally is like if you're a gym rat or a martial artist, it's actually a really cool like thing to reference.
When you do bench presses, do you like scream it's over 9,000 when you get to like the end of it?
So I got a friend who. When Bitcoin went over 9,000, everybody was memeing about how it's over 9,000, and he was the only guy that didn't understand what it was. I just laughed my ass. It's over 9. That was so funny.
Oh, but to answer your original question, yeah, it was the plan for him George Lucas to direct the 3 original trilogy, but he only ended up directing one. Kind of ghost directed the third one, if you talk to certain people, and then he directed and written all the prequels, which the prequels.
So what did you think of Love and Thunder?
Oh, I liked it. I had heard some things going into it that is like, oh, this is like the worst Marvel film ever and blah blah blah, and I watched it and I don't know what people are talking about. Like I don't think it was as good as
Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was so good.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how are you? That movie was like 10. Like, how can you get anywhere close to it? So I don't know. There were some things about Thor: Love and Thunder, like any movie, that I didn't like. But I mean, overall,
what didn't you like about it?
Let me think here. Gore had a pretty iconic look in the comic books. He kind of has like like the
which guy's Gore?
He's the villain, the one that Christian Bale played.
Oh, Christian Bale, gotcha. Yeah.
Which I mean, he did a phenomenal job in that movie.
It was cool that he was in the movie.
You remember Jabba's dancers, the Twi'leks with the head tails? That's kind of like what he looks like in the comics, but he's got like four of those, and he has kind of like a flatter face and stuff like that. So, I would have liked to have seen more of a comic accurate Gore. I know like things have to change in the movies. The MCU is far from 100% comic accurate. They changed quite a bit and pull stylistically from something called the Ultimate Marvel Universe 1610 and stuff like that. They definitely don't pull characteristically from there because like a lot of the Marvel heroes in the Ultimate Universe are kind of terrible people.
Well,
but the comics look really cool.
That's part of why I wanted to talk to you about some of this stuff, because you kind of understand a lot of the actual history, like where they're drawing from. Like, it's like when they write it's literally when they make movies after books, and then they're like, oh, the book was better because this is what happened, and they changed this. But comic books are a little different because they're not.
They rarely do a 1-to-1 adaptation, unless it's something like like a Watchmen or like V for Vendetta or something. That's more of a trying to do something, a 1-to-1 correlation, a straight up adaptation, and some are closer than others. But some of the animated stuff, they'll take particular storylines and adapt that, and even then, that's pretty far away. But yeah, it's kind of funny how it's more acceptable to pull away in like the comic adaptations than it is with like something that's a actual book, you know.
So, was there anything else that you didn't like about it?
I mean, I'm sure there was. I'm kind of drawing a blank here right now.
I mean, that's fine. Like, it's like maybe there wasn't that much. I don't personally remember anything that I didn't really like. I mean, I don't have the comic book history that you have, but I really thought that it was cool at the beginning when Christian Bale was, on
his home planet.
He was on his home planet, and he went over to that sun god or whatever he was.
Yeah,
and it was
into his little oasis.
Yeah, this was so cool, and that guy was such a dick face.
Yeah,
and I was just like, wow, this is really cool, and it like.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's pretty close to like the comic book origin of him. Like it's more like the meat and bones of it, where he lived on this planet and it was really harsh, and he was really loyal to his god. And then when he kind of was like, well, they don't answer me, they don't answer my prayers, they don't help anybody, and so then he went on that kind of to kill all gods rampage type of a thing.
What a butthole.
But that was one of the things that Kevin Feige, who's like the big producer of all the Marvel movies, he's like the architect, and he plans all this stuff out, and he had said, well, the reason we didn't go with the comic accurate look of gore is because we would have lost a lot of Christian Bale's performance in the CGI ness of it.
Well, that's fair.
I mean, that does make sense. And I mean, like the facial expressions and stuff he was doing in the movie were just crazy. I mean, you don't often get an actor that can play Batman and then also could play Joker, because I mean, some of those like crazy insane looks that he was doing, I was like, oh wow, he could have played the Joker like very easily.
Oh, Christian Bale could have played the Joker.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that. Like, but he was Batman.
Yeah, he was Batman. But like, and he's, they're talking, the kids are talking about, oh yeah, and then Thor cut off his head or whatever, and then like he appears out of the shadows and he rips the head off, and he's like, oh, you thought this was cool 2 seconds ago, and like, it was very Joker like.
Oh, he was actually. I did get a little bit of that. That's one. Yeah. But I thought it was cool, like a lot of what happened with the hammer, with
Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. It was like when I wasn't, like total spoilers, but I wasn't expecting. I don't remember her character's name.
Jane Foster,
because I hadn't seen her, and I hadn't watched one of the older Thor movies with her in there for a long time.
Yeah, she was only in 2 of the Marvel movies. She's mentioned in a few of the other ones, but
yeah. And killed her off.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
Like
that to happen at the end.
Kill her off. Like, I thought the hammer was going to save her.
Yeah.
Didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I saw these cuts of like how did she get Mjolnir back together, and then it was like it movie makes it pretty clear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he like promised to the hammer.
We got to think it's like there's a million people out there that are just going to have, they claim the movie has an agenda, but if you actually listen to the people talking about the movie's agenda, you see that no, they have an agenda. They see this character is not like them, and now their agenda is to trash that character and to trash that movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is kind of weird how she gets the hammer and then gets all the cape and everything. Like, I get this, like, she can. I don't really understand how the hammer gives her strength, though, because Thor he's strong anyway.
Yeah, well, yes, he does have natural strength because he's an Asgardian, but if you go back to the original movie, the enchantment that Odin puts on the hammer before he throws it to Earth is whoever wields this hammer, should they be worthy, will have the powers of Thor.
Oh.
So she has the power of him because of Odin's enchantment on that hammer.
So does that mean that if Thor has the hammer and he's worthy, he gets the power of Thor? Like double power? Because he already has the power of Thor. Like, he doesn't need the hammer to have the lightning, right? He doesn't need it.
No, not since Ragnarok.
Not since Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Because he's an actual, well, he's a god, whatever that means in there.
I mean, he's he's an alien in the MCU, but then they kind of go back and forth. They're like, he's an alien. Well, he's a god. Well, and so it's they kind of muddy the water. I don't know.
To Earthlings, he's an alien.
Yeah.
But he's a god. What does that mean, though? Like, he lives forever?
No, he doesn't live forever because Odin dies.
Oh, that's true. But he was, like, super fucking old.
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't live forever.
Yeah,
he gets
that's true.
old and he dies.
So you live for a long-ass time.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, they've blurred the lines between alien and god because it kind of felt like they were just going back and forth, that it's really pointless in the MCU.
Yeah, kind of weird.
In my opinion, so it's just like, whatever. People want to call him an alien, people want to call him a god in the movie. I don't really care.
What about Zeus?
What about him? Russell Crowe?
Did you believe that he was Zeus?
Did I believe that?
Could you believe that he was Zeus?
It was a little weird.
And then he was a dick face, and they fucking killed him.
No, he survived.
No way.
Didn't you watch the after credits?
I didn't.
Yeah, no, he survived somehow. I don't know. Maybe
I suspected he might have survived.
Yeah, now he's sending his son Hercules to do something. We don't know yet. We don't know yet,
dude.
But yeah, no, he's alive.
Yeah. I thought it was super cool how they stole his lightning bolt, though.
Yeah, no, that was really cool.
I was like, yeah. Is that weapon actually legit, though? Like, it looked pretty legit, but I was like, is it as good as Mjolnir or Stormbreaker? Stormbreaker.
I mean, in the movie, they seem to say it is. You know, they're like, it's really powerful. So I just have to take their word for it.
After he's like flinging it around with his concubines, I was like, is this like for real? Concubines, is that the right word?
No, it is. It's just funny that you were so like open in this, and then you just like pull back with like concubines.
I mean, they were like his hooker.
See, that's something I would have expected you to say instead of concubine. That's why I laughed.
Like a nicer word.
I mean, it's an apt description of what they are.
Oh, okay.
So it was so funny because it was so proper.
Oh, it's proper.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like, what are they like?
No, that is 100% what they would be.
I only know what concubines means because I watched Mulan when I was little, and they say concubines in Mulan. That's at least what I remember. You know, like I could have remembered wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to remember much of Mulan other than
Eddie Murphy.
Let's get down to business.
Eddie Murphy's the only reason to watch that movie.
I mean, he's great.
Mushu. Freaking Disney movies.
Great Stone Dragon.
That's the Disney I remember. Like, Disney's a little different now. I'm not as stoked on it, but like, hey, they're putting out. So it's like the Star Wars. It's like my buddy Matt was like, any new Star Wars is good Star Wars. Is what he says.
Yeah.
Like, even though a lot of people are pissed about it or whatever, but like they're putting out more. And anyway, so
I don't think that any.
You're not that diehard?
No. That's not what I'm sorry. I'm saying I don't think any Star Wars content that Disney has put out has been as bad as the prequels. I know there's like a big like movement online where it's like people are trying to.
Dude, I love the prequels.
They're trying to say, yeah,
freaking love the prequels.
They love the prequels and they're really good and they're misunderstood works of art. And I'm just like, look, you like them. That's fine. That's cool. But objectively, they're bad movies.
I want to zoom into your eyeball right now.
That one? This one?
All right, that's enough of that.
So yeah, it's like, you know, anything that they've released hasn't been as bad as the prequels, in my opinion. I think it's all been enjoyable. At least some stuff's better than the others. Like this Andor series that dropped the first 3 episodes is really good.
Ooh, Liz says hi. Hi, Liz. That's my girlfriend.
Hello, Liz.
You should say hello in the Joker voice. Or no. What's your favorite voice? Do that one.
What, my favorite voice? I don't have like a favorite voice per se. I don't know. Maybe like Bane.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones you do.
Elizabeth, also known as Liz. Good evening. Does that work?
Do it again. The camera wasn't on you. No, she could hear you. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it almost works better if they don't see you.
Yeah,
when
that's
you're doing
true.
The voice,
That's true.
you know?
Actually, it was just like me looking at the computer while Bane's voice was.
Mark Hamill. When people come across him and we're like, "Do the Joker voice," he insists that they turn around.
Oh, that's really cool. Actually,
Yeah.
Because then you
cool.
imagine the Joker.
Yeah. Because he can't do any movements that are more impressive than what you imagine in your own mind.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's really clever. I like him. He's really cool with the whole fandom. He's really cool with the fandom.
Yeah,
as far as I know.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, in the beginning when he was struggling to break free from, like the Luke Skywalker of it all, it was kind of frustrating that all, anybody wanted to talk about was Star Wars and stuff because, an actor is an artist and, they want to explore different things and stuff like that. But once he kind of, came to his personal realization that, like, if I'm known as Luke Skywalker for the rest of my life, that's a pretty good life.
I mean, that's got to be the way it is.
That's got to be the way it is.
I just wish he kicked more. I wish he kicked some ass in the new ones.
Agreed.
I really wish he kicked some ass. I was looking forward to I get it that he probably would have died because they always kill off the old Jedi, but come on, man, one more whooping.
I think to kill him off at the end of The Last Jedi was a mistake, especially since Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, General Organa, had passed away in real life. Because you can kind of tell that they were kind of given the big three one last hurrah per movie.
Yeah.
But, we lost Solo in the first one. And, I mean, I really loved Han in The Force Awakens. I mean, so much of the film's humor came from him.
Oh, it was so good.
Listen up here, big deal. Women always find out. Always.
It was... I haven't seen Han Solo. I have not seen Han Solo.
Oh, like the prequel thing?
Yeah, I haven't seen
Solo?
it because I don't want to. I don't want to watch it not being Harrison Ford.
No, I totally feel you on that.
I mean, it could be. I have actually heard. I've heard it's really good, but I can't watch it.
I wouldn't say it's really good. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's all the stuff in the beginning of the film on Corellia. I think that could have been cut out, and you could have started it on Menbom and then had a lot more runtime left of the movie, but the making of that movie was a real disaster. So they kind of did what they could. They hired two guys originally, and they weren't sticking to the script, and they're kind of throwing out a lot of dialogue and trying to make it improv-y, and then eventually the actor kind of had to tell the people hey, are you looking at the dailies that they're sending you, because this isn't the script, this isn't the movie I signed on for, this isn't the movie you agreed to pay for. I think you need to pay more attention.
Yeah,
they paid more attention, and then they fired those directors.
It's a good move. Yeah, fire them.
I don't know. I think Kathleen Kennedy definitely needs to get on the same page with her Star Wars creatives, because
I've heard bad things about her. I mean, most of YouTube says she sucks.
Well, I mean,
I don't know, but
it's difficult. It's I'm not a fan of her work with the Star Wars franchise, but at the same time, I don't want to also be associated with the mouth breathers that don't like her because she's a woman. Because that's not my problem with her.
That's the thing. It's I don't care if she's a woman. I don't care if she's whatever. Yeah. I don't care if she's upside down and backwards and inside out. She doesn't seem to me like a Star Wars person. She seems like some businesswoman that doesn't really have a love for Star Wars.
Yeah, and she's, her producing work before she was running Lucasfilm is, it's unparalleled. We're talking about movies like Jurassic Park. But for her to have J.J. Abrams, to direct the first movie, and to have him write out a general outline of this is what happens in the second movie, this is what happens in the third movie, and then to hire a second director, hand him those notes, and say, yeah, these are the notes from the first guy, you can use them, or you can just do whatever you want. I don't think as a producer, telling a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, that's a good move.
If you want any kind of congruency, and I make videos, so it's like yeah, I think that what's the guy that came in and worked on the second one?
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, like Mr. Ryan comes in, and it's like he can still do whatever he wants, like, but like let's follow these frameworks so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
And he can do all, whatever, just make it all, he could have interesting things happen still and twists and turns. But like, it's like he wasn't thinking about the fans. He was thinking about himself.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make with Luke Skywalker dying at the end of the movie. He put that in because that's what he wanted for his movie. That's what he thought would make his movie a good movie. And whether you think it is or it isn't, that's for you to say. It's like, it's my least favorite Star Wars movie. I put it above the prequels, It goes like Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, Revenge of the Sith, then Last Jedi, and I'm not going to get into the rest of that because it's off topic. But like, if they were concerned about the story as a whole, they would have reshot that scene and had Luke survive, so he could have been in the third one, because you don't have Carrie Fisher to be in the third one.
Yeah.
You have some stuff that she filmed, and then you have some, frankly, some junk footage from the first movie that got cut out, and then you put it in that movie, and it doesn't work. So if you wanted somebody from the original cast to be there, Harrison Ford's not going to do it. Number one, his character's dead. He came back for that, that scene or whatever, but he's not going to be in the movie. As a whole.
Yeah, he wasn't even a Force ghost. He was a memory.
He was a memory, and he killed that scene. He was amazing in it.
Yeah, what about when Carrie Fisher used the Force to go into the? Okay,
it's like it makes sense, but it looks goofy. It makes sense that you could use the Force to make a giant fart noise, but it's gonna be goofy.
I just use the Force.
Yeah,
out of my butt.
Exactly. You make sense to use go number 2 and use the Force to dump it off somewhere where it's out of the way or whatever. But that's a goofy looking scene.
They don't think they explained that if she had some Force training while the time passed. She didn't seem like she had any Force training, and then she also you can't just
she
did in outer space you freeze instantly. She just it didn't quite add up all the way.
And then there's also tone and stuff like that. They did a similar scene in the animated show Rebels with a character called Kanan Jarrus. That's a Jedi, and did that, and it was different in tone and the way it was going. But just because it's something she can do and it does make sense doesn't mean that it doesn't look goofy.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. I learned that selling blenders.
Oh. Telling people what to blend and not to blend?
Yes, it's...
Will it blend? That is the question.
Shakespeare blending. No, we don't say that. That was the competitor.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to rock your product in a bad way.
You're a naughty man.
Sometimes. I sped on the way here, so yeah.
Yeah, you sped. I just rewatched, I think, pretty much every Avenger movie.
Every single one?
It's only 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were using it as a general term for the MCU.
No, Avengers. Very specific. Avengers is the movies, Avenger movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's 4.
I watched all of Iron Man again. All fairly recently, and they're just so good.
Especially that first Iron Man movie, man. That really holds up.
It does. It's super good. Yeah. It's Tony Stark built it in a cave
with a box of scraps.
I did not realize that until recently. That's the Big Lebowski. That's the Big Lebowski he was such a good bad guy. I'm how is that the Big Lebowski dude?
He's a good actor, Talking about a good actor can play Joker and Batman. A good actor can play the Big Lebowski and Obadiah Stane.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen The Big Lebowski when I originally saw that either.
Yeah.
Which is funny that I saw that first.
I've never seen The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
I
you
just know it from pop
No,
culture.
you should see it. You should see. I mean, it's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's at least one time, and then you can kind of get the references. But do you think that Tony Stark's coming back?
Yes. 100%.
Explain.
So,
I mean, I want him to come back, and he was on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan asked him he was going to come back.
well, it's tough to say because you really can't take his word as gospel because he was on one talk show. I think it was Ellen DeGeneres show. I think it was that one. I'm not entirely sure. But she asked him, like, oh, are you going to do an Iron Man 4? And he was like, well, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do Iron Man 4. And then, that was almost like 10 years ago, and that's not a thing. And then he later tried to, like, walk back the comments. He was like, well, Captain America Civil War is really Iron Man 4. And it's like, no, that's Captain America 3.
No, yeah, that's totally Captain America.
Yeah. It's his name is in the title.
Yeah, Captain America Civil War, right?
Yeah.
But
the way I think he'll come back is there was a short time in the comic books where he was mentoring a character and he was dead, but he had, I think it was a backup of his consciousness. It may have straight up been his consciousness. It's been a while since I read it. But basically, he was an AI like Jarvis is in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that would be an easy way to bring him in. It's like, hey, for this movie, we're only going to need you to come into the recording booth for, 2 hours and, here's your check for, millions of dollars.
Well, he probably would need to act because there'd probably be some holograms of him.
Yeah.
He had tons of holographic capabilities, so
in the last Avengers movie, you see a hologram of him talking to his daughter, Morgan.
Yeah, his end of life
message
hologram. I was like, what do you call it? It's not a video. It's a
holographic will.
There you go.
Yeah.
You should be a mortician. A holographic mortician.
I think that's a big leap to move from that over to there.
I
think I've kind of pigeonholed myself in fire. I don't think there's any other career opportunities for me.
Yeah, I think there are. What if you used to open up a comic book shop?
Well, the thing with comic book shops is they're not very popular. They're not very profitable.
Yeah, but if you put a cool coffee shop in it, people come in for the coffee.
And then read the comic books for free and then also ruin them.
No, you stab them if they read them for free. And then they learn their lesson and pay lots of money.
No, comic books, like most entertainment, like movies and TV, like a wave of the future with that is the subscription streaming model. Marvel Comics has their own streaming service for their comic books. I personally think you should get that for free with Disney Plus, but you don't. And then DC Comics also has their own streaming service for their comic books. Again, I think you should get that for free if you have a HBO login. But you don't, because they pull from all of this source material. They make these big movies and all this money off of these movies, and then this content would just advertise for that content. But whatever, it's not my money. I would probably feel a little bit different if it was me making money off of it. But
something having a physical comic book is,
I think it's going away. I was what they call the weekly warrior type person, go to the comic shop every week, and then I stopped going to my comic shop and I started ordering them off this app called Midtown Comics, which would send them to me already in bags and boards, so I can read it and then just boop, put it in the storage collection and stuff like that. And then it just started getting too ridiculous of prices. It was a lot of money. Sometimes it was like $100 a month.
Really?
Yeah, and comic books, and I wasn't even getting all the ones that I wanted. So it just became for me at the time, it was, financially irresponsible to do it. So, and then I had the login for the DC Comics app because at the time it was also like it was trying to be its own streaming service. It had like different TV shows on there and stuff like that, which I thought was a horrible idea. But I started reading the comics off there on this big tablet I had for work, and it was nothing beat the convenience of it.
Yeah, that's a way of the dinosaur, huh? God. I still think like a physical book. I would rather have a physical book than a Kindle any day.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely something more like romantic about it,
Well, you can hold it for one. Like the book is here, and if you run out of battery, your book is not going to go away because there's no battery, and you can write in it and dog ear the pages.
Oh,
what
no,
do they call that?
Yeah, it's called dog earing. Yeah, to bookmark it, but I could never do that to any of that stuff. There's no way I would dog ear a comic book, man.
Oh, because of the value?
No, not because of the value. I just like to keep my comic books looking presentable and in like a readable shape. I don't want to have like a big tear in it or like fold over and stuff like that. It's like I want it to look good. I spent money on it.
I suppose it depends. Like, I guess some of the books I'm talking about, like self-help books or something, and I want to read it. Like, this is important. I'm gonna see this later, but like this is entertainment. So like, you want to keep it. I guess that kind of.
There's also like the collectionist in like nerd culture. It's like, oh, you want to have all of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi action figures if you collect, action figures or whatever. You don't want them to look good or whatever. There's very few like nerds like Phil Lamar, who's he's done like a lot of voice work. He voiced like Green Lantern in the animated series and like Samurai Jack. You'd probably know him from
Samurai Jack.
But he's a comic book guy, but he just throws them away after he's done reading it. He'll literally read the comic book, throw it away. He'll have it like rolled up in his pocket as he's like going from place to place and throw it. It's crazy. And like his perspective on collection and stuff like that, especially with comic books, is pretty interesting. He says that like collecting comic books is like worse than being a drug addict because at least a drug addict will go through all of their drugs before they buy new drugs. Nobody says it's Wednesday, I need to go to the drugstore and buy more drugs
every time.
But yeah, I was definitely guilty of that, having a big stack of comics, and I'm like, oh, I'll put that one there, I'll get that one, I'll get that one.
Sounds like my roommate James with video games.
Yeah.
He sold me his PlayStation 4 Pro when he got his PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And I sold it when I bought all this stuff. And then he doesn't know it yet. He asked yesterday. He was asking me. He's like, "Hey, you want to get on the crew? You haven't been playing any games lately. You ever play any games?" And I was like, "I just been watching a lot of movies and Netflix and I just avoided the question. I just felt like since he sort of gave it to me, I bought him a nice bottle of whiskey. He was like, you can't just give it to me. I'll get you something. But like, probably not even half the value of the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that stuff works. My brother bought me my PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was a really nice gift.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's funny. Do you have a PS5?
No, they're still a little difficult to get a hold of, and the ones that are available are kind of like a bundle, or it's like pay $1,000 and you get the system and 2 controllers and 3 games, and you really only want to play one of these games.
Yeah, like
and
that.
It's like,
I've had an opportunity to buy one. I think there was one for sale at the pawn shop here, and it was a reasonable deal. And then James ordered an Xbox, whatever they're called now.
A Series 1X. I think they have a real branding problem with their new Xbox, personally. I think it's a little too complicated, but I can't ever remember.
So he ordered one. It came, and it didn't have any of the software it was supposed to have or whatever. He was supposed to get all these bells and whistles already on it. And so he was like calling him up, was like, how do I fix this? Blah, blah, blah. And then before he had that all resolved, he got the actual Xbox in the mail. So he had 2.
Oh, okay.
And he offered to sell me one. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, maybe. Like, how much? And it was like full retail. And I was like, he's like, that's a good deal.
No,
and
not
I'm like,
really.
well, because they were selling for more than that.
Yeah, but still, it's like I don't really know what the platform is. It's like I'm not going to screw you over like everybody else is.
I just felt like you got it for free, like the buddy deal. Like, give it to me for half price or something. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's his thing.
Anything is profit, and yeah, he does get to decide
thing.
what he wants to do.
But
obviously.
I was like, I could try to buy one and just pay regular price if I could get in, but I'm not doing that. I just felt like I was like, not a good deal. Didn't seem like a good deal. Nah, I don't want it.
I mean, and sometimes like a good deal is a good deal, but it's still a lot of money.
Yeah, well,
like spending like $5,000 on a car is like a good deal, but that's still a lot of money. It's $5,000.
I think the Xbox was like $600 or something like that.
Yeah,
and it was like
that's about the price they're going for, I think.
I didn't really want an Xbox. I wanted a PlayStation, but the Xbox has the new Elder Scrolls is supposed to be going onto the Xbox instead of the PlayStation, and it used to be cross-platform, and now it's not. And so,
well, it's kind of weird because it was like I got the PlayStation 2, and that was like the console at the time. It was the best one, and so that's the reason why I bought the PlayStation 3. And the 360 was the console at the time. Yeah, it was way better.
Yeah.
And then so that's when I went. That's why I bought the Xbox One instead of the PlayStation 4. And then the PlayStation 4, in my opinion, was just a way better console, and it had way better games, or at least games that I was interested in playing.
Yeah.
A lot of people like they just want to play a game where they run around in a circle for 20 minutes, killing each other and respawning and doing that over and over.
Not me,
and
man.
I just need a little bit more out of games.
You mean just like Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty or whatever. There's like a game called like For Honor where you ran around with like swords and maces and axes.
Yeah,
but I mean, you were
cool.
doing the same thing.
Yeah. I don't enjoy getting raped by little 13-year-olds that are way better than me at the game.
Yeah,
when you spawn and then you just die, you spawn and then you die and then you run around, maybe kill somebody, and then it's just not fun. Like if you want to really get good at it, you have to spend way too much time playing it. And I don't have that much time to play games. Like it just need. I sold that because I was like, I need more of a life and I need the money to do other cool things like make podcasts. By the way, somebody's listening on YouTube. Whoever you are, thanks for listening. Santino, make a cool voice for our listener on YouTube.
Wow, way to put me on the spot here.
Okay, I'll switch from you. I'll look shocked.
Hello, listener. Thanks for joining in. Joker here.
That was pretty good, actually. That was pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I wish I could do the Joker that way. No,
it's not great having a voice that can make other voices because you're 33 and your voice still cracks because it's so malleable. So
well, you have a deeper voice. I have a deeper voice.
I have a deeper voice too, and then every once in a while, this will happen out of nowhere.
Permo puberty.
Something like that. Who knows?
Camera thing seems to be working pretty good. I think I need to do my camera like just both people, because if I don't pay enough attention, then I don't cut it back. But as long as you can hear it, I think it's pretty.
I think
cool.
It's fine. I mean, most people will just like download the podcast. I would think, anyways.
We'll put it on Spotify.
Spotify. So is there a reason that you're on Spotify exclusively? Or is that just kind of how it worked out?
Who said that? Oh, exclusively. I got $100 million contract. No.
Yeah, I didn't know if they Rogan'd you or Dak Shepard you or something.
No, I think that if they could, they'd actually pay me to stay off of the platform. But they don't know about me, so I kind of snuck in under the rug.
Gotcha. I guess my question was, did you just decide not to be on Apple Podcasts for any particular reason?
Apple Podcasts. Well, no, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify. I don't know, Apple Podcasts. I don't. Apparently, a lot of people use Apple Podcasts, but like not me. Like,
the only reason I have Spotify is for your show and Dax Shepard's show.
Oh, my girlfriend listens to Dax.
Yeah, I love him.
Dax is cool.
Yeah, my wife listens to him. My sister-in-law listens to him. Even my mother-in-law does, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people like, what do they call it? Armchair expert?
Yep. And then he has a bunch of sub ones in there, like Armchaired Anonymous, Armchaired and Dangerous, Expert on Expert. He's got it's all in the same feed, but yeah, he's got a bunch of different little shows in there.
Yeah, it's very well produced. I think for my taste, it's maybe a little overly produced. But that's just me.
For sure.
My girlfriend really likes this other show that's highly, highly edited and produced. They add all kinds of sound effects. I think it's with whatever that public radio that everybody listens to.
NPR.
It's like with NPR. And they're constantly cutting clips and sound effects. And I'm just like, I just need too much.
Yeah, me and Ed, you know him.
Yeah.
We actually did like a YouTube podcast before podcasts were like a big thing, and it's like we didn't really think it was like a podcast, even though like retrospectively looking back, that's what it was.
It's a podcast.
But I remember I kind of did the same thing. I would listen to it and I would think like, oh, my voice sounds too high right here. I need to like lower the pitch of it, and I'd lower the pitch of it, or there's too much silence here, and I would cut out like silence, and so it was just like it sounded like it was just like nonstop talking.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
What? Did it sound terrible, or what do you mean?
Well, first of all, I'm not a real big fan of like the show like as an adult, because I was like 10 years younger when I was doing this. And,
can we go find it and like listen to it?
Please no. It'll be actual torture. You don't know what it is.
We gotta talk to Ed.
You can talk to Ed. He'd probably show it to you.
Ed, where's Ed? He should be listening. We should call him right now.
I don't know where Ed is.
Do you have his number?
Yeah, I got his number.
We should have call-ins. I wish we could have call-ins.
Oh yeah, that would be.
You called in.
I did when the sound was messed up. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Well, no, it wasn't an insult. I was trying to help you out.
It was because Hannah didn't know what the fuck she was doing.
Whoa. Let's not play the blame game when some people aren't here, you know.
I'm blaming because she ain't here.
You know, in my after action reviews, I try to say let's be fair here. You know, this person's not here, so let's not just gang up on this person just because they're not here. The whole fire went wrong because of this one person that's not here. Well, that's very convenient.
Yeah. and then when George or whoever comes back, hey guys, why y'all look pissed off?
Because we all decided that we hate you. That's definitely happened.
That happened to me at work once. Like I came in and everybody was pissed, and they're like, there was ants everywhere, and I had like a bowl I used for ramen I reuse.
Yeah.
And they're like, clean up your dishes. And it's like on my desk, and it's like, dude, they're not attracted to the ramen bowl. They want sugar.
I don't know anything about that, but yeah, I've definitely experienced that sort of thing, where like all of a sudden it was like everything that went wrong on this fire was because of me. You know, this is a big fire, a lot of people there, but you know, somehow, you know, management needed to, you know, a nice clean little box to put things in. It was him. But luckily that's not my current job, but you know.
The other guy,
yeah.
Well, what's freaking A, man?
Yes. Freaking A. This is Casey stalling for time, trying to find something else to speak about.
There's plenty to talk about. Like we can go on forever. But I was just thinking in terms of the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was diving into it. Oh, you know, like Captain America.
Yeah, what about him?
He's fucking old now and he died. No, is he still alive?
He's still alive.
So what's up with that? Like, when he died, he gave his shield to the Hawkeye, or not Eagle. What the fuck is his name?
Falcon.
Well,
he's not dead, but yeah, he did give his shield to
I was like,
Falcon.
why didn't he give it to Bucky?
I don't know. I mean, Bucky was Captain America in the comics for a little bit.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, but so was Sam. So was Falcon.
No, I mean, Sam's cool. Falcon's cool.
Sam is cool. Did you watch the show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I did not.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should watch it. They weren't my favorite. Well, no, I like Bucky. They're both cool, but they weren't my favorite superheroes.
They wouldn't have been the first person I chose to do a spinoff show of.
Yeah.
But it ended up being pretty good.
Didn't they make a movie? I
No.
thought they made a movie. No, it was just a series.
It's just a series. They're doing a Captain America New World Order that has those guys in it, and that's going to be a movie.
Oh, okay.
They just announced that.
Okay, yeah. The one MCU superhero that I'm just super stoked on is Doctor Strange. I think he's like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, he's cool.
Like really love. What the fuck is that guy's name again?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbitch.
It's like a batch of berries.
He's awesome. He's like so good at being. Oh, like when he and Tony Stark go at it, like
Yeah,
that is fucking awesome.
I was a little bit nervous seeing these guys together because I was like, these characters are pretty similar. I don't know.
They're both alpha males.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna like work out. If it's gonna be interesting, and it was so much more interesting than seeing
because they were like rivals. They were like fighting with each other, and it was like,
oh yeah,
that was the good thing about.
It certainly helped having Peter there.
I just rewatched all of Spider-Man, original Spider-Man, with
Tobey Maguire.
You see, you're so much better with the names than me.
You know what? I wish I had a more encyclopedic knowledge of useful things, but I guess I'll have to settle for this.
Tobey Maguire. And it's like, I remembered that I liked the first one, and I was like, not so sure about the rest. And I was like, I like all of these. These are pretty good. I like how... And then I just rewatched the first one of the second series.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then I remember what happens in the second episode, and I'm like, oh, no, that's an example of one I don't want to watch. Because I know the chick dies, and it sucks.
Well, it's kind of funny because you don't want to watch like an episode or a movie of something because like something sad happens. You don't care if it's like good or bad,
Yeah.
I remember you like when I was like really into Smallville back in the day, and I was trying to get you into it, and you would watch stuff, and then you'd want to stop watching the episode because like, oh, Clark and Lana, they're like happy together and they like kiss and I don't want to do it because he's gonna screw it up next
I totally
episode.
remember that because it was so sad when they weren't happy and together, and I was like, this is lame. This is lame. I do remember that.
Yeah.
And I think I stopped watching it after that.
I mean, it's not a great show, but it's a show that I do remember fondly because it's.
There was this movie or show. Do you watch any anime?
Not as much as I did when we were younger in like high school and stuff, but I still watch some stuff.
I don't watch a lot, but my roommate does.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's just, it's like a whole nother streaming thing that you got to get. But
like Crunchyroll or whatever.
Crunchyroll's cool and it's not too expensive. But gosh, if you pay for all of these things, you end up paying a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
But there was this series called Death Note.
Oh yes, yeah, I heard of it.
And I couldn't remember why at the time, but I didn't want to watch it anymore because like one of the characters ended up liking killing people and being bad, and it was like really sadistic. And
yeah, I think that's like the main character, right? He becomes much more comfortable killing people by writing in the book or something.
And at that point, like I stopped watching it. I was like, this makes me feel bad. Like I don't want to watch this anymore.
Then don't watch Breaking Bad.
I haven't actually.
Then you're not gonna like that.
People love Breaking Bad.
No, I love Breaking Bad. It's really good, but that's just another example of like how the character starts off really likable and sympathetic, and then he just becomes like a dirtbag more and more as the show goes on, until he's like just a complete unhinged, crazy person.
Dirtbag.
An unlikable monster.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah,
but it's still good. And then like the Better Call Saul, that's really good too. I need to finish watching that one. That's a spinoff of it.
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, it's about the lawyer character from Breaking Bad.
I think I've seen like one episode, and people say it's really great. One show that I started watching with my girlfriend was Walking Dead.
Oh yes, yeah. My dad was a huge fan of that show.
Oh yeah, he's a Walking Dead fan. We got into it till I don't know, maybe the second season, maybe if that. It was good, and like just stopped, kind of fell off.
Third is where I stopped watching.
Oh,
It felt like it was kind of leading up to this big battle with the Rick group and the governor, and then it just like ended with a bunch of like people getting off of a bus and going to live with Rick, and then the season ended, and I was like, oh, okay, you're gonna milk this out for another season. I think I'm done.
milk it. So we just started watching Outlander.
Oh, I've heard like interesting things about it, and it looks cool, but I also don't understand the concept. It's about time travel or something.
It's really good.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I think my girlfriend loves dramas, and so it's got a little bit of
most
drama
people
stuff
do.
in it. I mean, I love dramas, but like she loves these like romantic dramas that are like more chick flick stuff, and I mean, I make fun of her because she loves Virgin River. I'm like, why would you watch a show called Virgin River? It's your favorite show. You're watching Virgin River?
No, I'm not watching Virgin River.
But apparently it's pretty good.
I've never heard much about it.
Apparently it's pretty good.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Like our editor here in the, I actually work at this paper. This isn't a paper produced podcast, but like the editor at the News Times, he's like an older guy, and he's like, oh, he was watching it, Virgin River.
Oh, I mean, I watch stuff that's like like Teen Wolf or stuff about like kids and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll watch it, and I'm like way too old or out of the target demographic for it or whatever.
The target demographic.
It's like it could
13-year-old girls.
it could be the dumbest show with like the worst acting in it ever, but if you have some hook, like everybody's a werewolf, I'm in. Someone's a Frankenstein, I'm watching that show.
Frankenstein's cool.
Or they're all robots.
Robots are cool. Yeah. Werewolves are cool. Actually, it's about time to start watching scary movies.
Oh yeah, Halloween's coming up.
We my Liz and I had a couple good friends that just moved to Alaska, and they were our buddies for the holidays. It was great, the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
And anyway, we watched, I think it was like one of the older werewolf movies.
American Werewolf.
I don't know, the first scene, somebody got their head hacked off. Like the very first scene, and it was like super cheesy. I don't know if it's American. That's a newer one, isn't it?
No, it came out in like the 70s or 80s.
That might have been it. Yeah, it was like they were at the train tracks, and somebody got their head hacked off, and you didn't know why, and then
maybe, I don't know. The American Werewolf opens up with two Americans backpacking throughout Europe, and then
no, that's got to be a different one.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's scary movie time. Any suggestions?
28 Days Later.
I freaking love 28 Days Later. Actually, I think I have it illegally downloaded back from when it was easier to do that.
Oh, that's bad. I have the DVD.
You do.
Yeah.
DVDs are great. I don't have a DVD. This computer doesn't have a DVD thing.
Most of them don't.
That one does though. It's weird.
I felt so old when my friend, he lives with me, and he spent he got a bunch of like back unemployment, and he like spent it on like this really rad PC build.
Yeah.
And so he was waiting on the operating system to come in, and it came in, and I didn't understand because it wasn't in a package big enough for a CD. And I was like, are you sure this is it? And he's like, yeah. And he pulls it out, and it's on a flash drive. He's like, computers don't really have like disk drives anymore, right? I was like, no, I didn't know that. So yeah, I didn't even know they sold the operating systems on USB drives.
I've never bought an operating system.
I bought one. It was Windows 7, and then I never installed it because I got a smartphone around the same time, and so I stopped using my computer. And now I have like zero computer skills.
Yeah, that's happened to a lot of people. If you don't need a computer to do, well, I mean, your phone does the internet.
Yeah.
Your phone does email. Your phone does calls.
Everything.
I mean, you can watch videos.
Yeah, I was coming up here, and like the Wi-Fi calling on my wife's phone wasn't working, and we're having a heart attack trying to figure it out because She's doing caregiving for her great grandma, and like, a lot of our lives are wrapped up in these phones, and we were laughing about how much they got us by the teeth on these.
Dude, I just broke my phone. I got this iPhone SE.
Oh, nice.
$150,
Mm-hmm.
brand new. I had one. I've had this for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
I had one. I bought another one 2 weeks prior to that before I broke it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a phone for like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, "Wow, this is weird not having a phone, like at all."
Oh yeah, and then with my job, we're out in like the woods and stuff, and we don't have like service to like do things. And I think it's kind of funny how like your brain wants like the dopamine reward from looking at your phone. And so like my mind, even though like consciously I know I don't have service, my mind will try to trick me into looking at my phone. And it's like, oh, hey, you need to send that email. So, you should do that right now because you're not doing anything. And then like I'll pick up my phone. I'm like, wait a minute, no, you don't have any service. Or something like that. Or you should see it, that new video dropped on YouTube. It's constantly trying to trick me into looking at the phone.
Hey, and it brings me back to CrossFit this morning.
Yeah.
Ryan Richardson, like I don't know what he called it, but like here's the lesson of the day: stay off social media, stay off TikTok, stay off Instagram. Which I'm not on TikTok.
I'm not either.
But
that is the one hill I will die on.
And
it's not for any of like the political reasons or anything like that. But
not because China's trying to take us over with TikTok or steal our data, which I don't think is actually political. I think that's something else.
I don't know if any of that's true or not, which is why I don't like get involved with it.
Oh, it's definitely true.
Because
why the heck would China not try to take all our data? Come on.
Look, I'm not saying that it isn't true. I'm just saying I don't know if it is, and so I would sit here talking about something that I know nothing about.
We can only speculate.
Which is a big problem nowadays. Is everybody is an expert on everything, and everybody will sit there yammering on about stuff that they don't actually understand, and then they'll sit there and argue with you until they're satisfied, which is you agreeing with them, in totality. And I just don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't like it because the smartphones already destroyed our attention span. You know what I mean? And then I see people, on TikTok, and then it's just even worse. And so it's just a personal thing for me. It's like my attention span is already trashed because of my smartphone, so I can't destroy it anymore with even more short form content, because there's some people that can't sit through a 10-minute YouTube video anymore.
Yeah.
Jordan's little brother, he was obsessed with YouTube and making content on YouTube, and then he stopped, and I asked him, and I was like, why? He's like, because YouTube videos are too long. And I was like, aren't the stuff that you're into, isn't it just like 10-minute long videos? He's like, yeah, exactly, that takes forever. And it's like, you can't sit down for 10 minutes and like focus on something.
No, they can. I thought the same thing. But here's the thing. Like when TikTok came about...
Now I sound old. But anyways, go on.
I'm older than you. Shut up. When TikTok came around, YouTube and Instagram copied them.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, you have YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And I was like, nobody's watching my longer form videos anymore. And not 10-minute, like 3-minute. And you have to get people into your longer form videos with your shorter videos. I watch longer form videos. A lot of people do, but they're only going to watch videos of things that they really want to see.
Yeah.
And it's like you got to convince them with all your other content, and you got to get them in there. It's like with all of this, like I'm still just getting started on YouTube, so I've got to cut clips out of this, and try to get cool stuff that we talked about, so that people will come and watch it. It's going
to be really difficult with me as a guest.
Why is that?
I'm just ripping on myself.
You ripping? All. Okay, let's rip on you.
Oh no, please don't.
Rip. That guy.
Rip on him. He needs to get a haircut. He's got a big nose.
I flicked a booger on you.
Perfect.
Actually, I didn't.
You don't have to lie to the people.
I don't have any boogers in my nose because I already picked them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You can't pick what you don't have.
A nose picker myself.
You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick friends' nose.
Solid advice.
I think I heard it in Dexter's Lab or something.
That's something I haven't heard about in a
I swear half the
time.
shit I know is from cartoons because I watched so much cartoons when I was little. Yeah.
Yeah, trust me.
Cartoons are the
Me
best.
too.
But I stopped watching. I don't watch cartoons much anymore.
There's just not like a lot of great animation out there that like a lot of people can enjoy. Like Batman the Animated Series or like Avatar the Last Airbender is something that like kids can enjoy, but also adults can enjoy. And now it's kind of just there's nothing really down the middle anymore.
Adult Swim makes some. Aqua Teen Hunger Force was one of my favorite ones at the end there.
Well,
like,
see, that's not down the middle. That's for adults.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like there's either like adult animation or there's like little kid animation. Like I used to get excited when like a new Spider-Man show would like drop or something, but now there's no reason to get excited for it because they're not trying to cast a wide net with their shows anymore. They're like, oh, the adults that want to watch something with Spider-Man, they'll just watch the movies with Tom Holland and stuff like that. You know, this is for the little kids, and I totally get that. That makes complete sense, but
Yeah, I'm not super into the little. I won't watch. Yeah, like you're saying, down the middle. That makes more sense. Like, I'm not gonna watch the little kid stuff.
no.
But I tell you what, though, I am super stoked on Spider-Man, the new Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think he's my favorite one.
He is definitely my favorite Spider-Man.
He is so good, and like, if you've seen his Instagram, he is so ridiculously like popular. It's like 50 million or something.
Yeah, everybody seems to love that kid.
Like, God, I wish I was that guy. Although he came that one of his newest movies, it was after the video game Uncharted or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it was okay.
I didn't watch it. I like Tom Holland and I like Uncharted, but I think that's just a miscast, man. He's too young.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they threw a bunch of jokes in, and they just didn't.
Tried to make it work.
They just didn't seem that funny. I mean, it was good. I mean, I watched the whole thing, and it was cool, but
It's on Netflix.
he's a really good Spider-Man.
He is. You know, it's like Tobey Maguire, I felt like, was a really good Peter Parker. I thought his Spider-Man was not really that great. Andrew Garfield thought was a really good Spider-Man. His Peter Parker was way too cool. Way too cool to be Peter Parker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I feel like Tom Holland, he's right in the middle. He walks in both worlds. And if you look in Spider-Man No Way Home, that third Spider-Man, when Andrew Garfield pops out, he's in the Spider-Man suit, and he's primarily Spider-Man in that movie. But when Tobey Maguire walks out, he's Peter Parker.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has to be Spider-Man because, you know, that's what the fans want. But he's primarily Peter. He's primarily Spider-Man. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Well, you gotta have a way to differentiate them too somehow, because they're all Spider-Man. But I that does make sense, and I'm glad you brought up Spider-Man No Way Home because that was so freaking good.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I want to see it again, but freaking Disney and Sony or whatever, it's not on Disney Plus, and it's like the only way you can see any Spider-Man is watching Avengers, which is like, I'm gonna watch Avengers. I'm gonna watch which one?
He is in Infinity War and Endgame.
No, he's also in Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's actually where he comes to
that's
be.
his first appearance, yep.
Yeah, so he can sneak him in there a little bit.
You nerded me up there.
Ooh, I out-nerded you.
Yeah, you got the one up on me.
I thought about wearing I don't know where I got it. No, my James gave it to me. He gave me a Scouter from Dragon Ball Z. I was like, I should wear it.
You should have. That would have been awesome.
I can't wear it with this on, though. Hey, guess who's coming on next week, by the way?
Do I get one guess?
How about 3? I'll give you 3 guesses.
Tom Holland. Oh, I didn't get it right?
No.
Okay. Let's see here. Andrew Garfield. Wow, I don't like that finger being pointed at me.
All right, last chance.
Tobey Maguire.
Wait, why did you pick all the Spider-Man people? Of course not.
Because we were just talking about Spider-Man.
No, they don't care about me. They don't give a shit about me.
I don't know.
I wish.
I think Andrew would be a listener.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Which one's Andrew?
He's the Amazing Spider-Man, the one in the middle.
I like him.
I like him too.
I want to watch the second one, but I just don't want to see what's-her-face die.
Gwen, it's sad.
Stupid. I remember.
I remember watching that in the theater and then just hearing her head just,
ooh.
and the whole theater was just silent when that happened. Like, everyone was just completely into the movie.
Yeah, it sucks. But no.
Who's your next guest?
420 Weed Gnome. 420 Weed Gnome.
We can do a second take of that if you want.
Second take? No, we're live, dude. You can't go second.
Just punch.
Look at that. You're losing all your. You're losing everything over here. How do I?
Losing all my composure.
You know, I got all these. Let me show you a picture of 420 Weed Gnome. So.
Do you know this person personally?
We saw this guy, and he was like a gnome. I don't know if you know, but my girlfriend and a friend of ours started a gnome Instagram account, and it's pretty awesome. You should follow.
Wait, I'm sorry. Do you mean like someone with like dwarfism? Well, I can't tell how tall this is.
He's like not super. He's not dwarf. He's not. He's not a midget.
He's just a shorter person with the.
Oh yeah, here. Oh, 420 Weed Gnome. I think I've already shown this.
So I'm guessing he's just kind of like the local color of Newport, kind of just walks around and people know him.
No, actually, he has a job. He works at the pot shop over by the across from the pawn shop.
The second and third part of his name is starting to make a little bit more sense.
He has a real name. It's like Donnie or something.
It's not that, I think 420 Weed Gnome is a little bit better.
No, I mean, that's his. So I saw him. He was at the gas station. I was there for something with work. And and then I was with the lady I work with. I'm like, look at the gnome. He's got the gnome hat on. And so it's like, I got the camera and I'm like, and he's like 420 Weed Gnome. So like I followed him on Instagram and then I invited him to come on. I was like, I gotta have weed. He has a podcast too. I want to go.
You want to like do a crossover?
Podcast. I mean, whatever. I mean, like, yeah, shouldn't you just go on other people's podcasts?
Well, yeah.
I've only been on one other podcast. It was the Nathan and Gabe show. They're a local here jiu-jitsu school, Tsunami Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, nice. You talk about your martial arts background and stuff like that.
Oh, we talked a little bit about that. We also talked about that was like more in the pandemic, so there was probably a lot of controversial things we talked about. It was only an hour long.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of damage could be done in an hour.
Coming
from a firefighter, let me tell you.
A lot of damage in 1 hour. Yeah, well, that was before I started mine. I've always wanted to do this. I didn't have a place. And so the News Times lets me do it in their meeting room. And, I thought I just wanted to an hour wasn't long enough. I was like, man, I want to talk for longer than an hour. It was just so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And where are we at? We're at like...
I don't know.
We're at like 6:30, 7:30. We're over an hour. We started pretty evenly on 6. It's 6:30, and now it's like this says this is gotta be mistaken because it says an hour. I mean, if I know how to do math,
I don't.
We've been on here for like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes actually.
I don't know how to do math.
All right. Well, it's hard to do when you're on the air.
The pressure's on.
The pressure's on, man. Where are we at here? Stop. No, I don't want to stop.
What are you doing with your hair? It looks good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I found I learned about this stuff playing Red Dead Redemption called pomade. Actually, I didn't.
My brother used to do pomade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I just figured I needed some hair putty, and I saw pomade at the grocery outlet, and I was like, oh, this is the right strength, finding the right strength for my hair, and I just need something to put in there, and I need a haircut. I almost got a haircut today.
Yeah, I use hair putty and stuff like that when my hair is a little bit shorter, but with work, I haven't been able to get over to my.
You're probably wearing a helmet all the time, so you got helmet hair. You ought to come up with that's your newest thing. You're gonna be the helmet hair guy.
The helmet hair?
Yeah,
guy?
you give them some stuff, and it makes their hair fucking great. Like, even though you wore a helmet all day, helmet spray keeps the helmet hair away. I don't know.
Most of the guys I work with aren't too concerned about their hair. A lot of people I work with are macho.
It's all about marketing, man. You got to sell them on it. You got to make them think it's going to make their life better. You show them like this big macho, just like you're talking about, like firefighter guy, getting all off, and he's all sweating. He's getting off at the end of the day, fighting a fire. He's got a little soot in his face. And he takes his helmet off, and he just helmet hair, and then like a bunch of hot chicks and money and a limo.
I think if it was like chewing tobacco, it'd be probably a little bit more.
Oh, it comes out of a chewing tobacco. That's what it is. It's like it comes in the can. Like
it's chewing tobacco that doubles as hair stuff. Instead of like spitting it on the ground, you spit it in your hand, and you just like style your hair with it.
Yeah, that's gross.
It is. I mean, chewing tobacco is just gross in general.
I don't know who chews, but somebody here at the News Times chews, and there's like these little chew bags all over the parking lot, and I always notice it. And I'm like, ugh.
Usually it's bottles that I've seen.
I'd rather have the little chew bags than bottles, because bottles break and make broken glass. But
well, I mean, like it's
chew
not
bags
like
are gross
glass bottles or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, like gross bottles.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking to see if anybody has commented. If you have any questions for Santino Olivas, professional firefighter and comic book aficionado, just let us know in the comments on either YouTube or Facebook.
Let's also not leave Casey out of this either. If you have any questions for Casey, professional podcaster, man of martial arts, really good hair right now, CrossFit taker, ask him as well.
Questions directed at me are questions that I will ask you.
Yeah, that's fine. I work for the state, so, bureaucracy, I'm comfortable with a certain level of it.
Oh, hey, okay, somebody did say something. Somebody said Radio Lab.
Something's wrong with the Radio Lab, probably. We haven't been actually broadcasting this at all.
No, that's a podcast or a radio show, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought that was like the streaming software you used. Or
no, I use OBS
or something. Okay.
No, I didn't. I wasn't seeing the comment.
Radio Lab.
Yes. I'll just say yes. I told him.
I told him.
I told Santino about Radio Lab. I think that was actually, how old was that? Oh, that was 31 minutes ago. I didn't see it. But whatever. It's good for the algorithm to answer the comments.
For sure.
I'm the...
See, that was an example of my voice breaking right there. For sure.
Oh, that's barely.
Barely. It
doesn't even count.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
Much worse.
Totally worse. Come on.
Has been.
Whatever. Hey, are you hungry, man? Have you had dinner?
I had some pizza this morning, and it's like oddly filled me up. Why?
Are you good? I was gonna say we can go get something to eat after this.
Oh, no, I'm good. I gotta get back to Reedsport tonight and start my shift tomorrow.
Oh, copy, Reedsport. Mm-hmm. Well, we probably ought to let's see here. Hold on. All right. Well, I think we're about done.
You didn't even ask me anything about firefighting.
Yeah, I know. It was too good talking about the other stuff.
Yeah, this was fun.
I know. I was like, we were talking about firefighting. I was like, man, I just want to talk about Spider-Man and Thor and Star Wars. It was like,
I thought I hooked you with, being stuck at the bottom of like this fire, and
I don't know. Obviously, you survived, and your knee's fine, so you walked in here.
Maybe I'm a ghost.
You probably did, but you're.
I guess that's the problem with the prequels, right? You always know how it's gonna end. I'm not talking specifically about Star Wars. I'm just saying prequels in general.
Oh, prequels in general. Perhaps. All right, Santino, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Thanks for coming on and being the first guest back from our month-long hiatus. Next week we will have 420 Weed Gnome. If you have any questions for Santino at gmail.com.
That is not my email address.
It could be, but just go ahead and send it there.
I'm sure it's taken because my name is in like 2 two famous works of literature.
Santino, comicbookfirefighter.com.
I don't have a website.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Talkness Monster Podcast.